Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 3 of It All Boils Down to This. Jim Boyle here with Jack Boyle as we get ready to start our third podcast here in our season. It's been a very interesting last couple of days since we met Jack. A lot's happened through baseball and soccer, and Ryder Cup guys were announced today. So real quick, you and I spent Friday night at Fenway for Mookie's return. All excitement. Impressions, what do you think?
Good to see all the Dodgers fans that were there.
Yeah,
it was good seeing him play again. He reminded us just how good of a baseball player he was, and it's an embarrassment that he's on the Red Sox. That's really all I have to say about the whole Mookie situation. There's not much. What do you want me to say? I'm upset. Yeah, I'm upset. I'll never get over it. He'll come back to Fenway in 2 years. It'll be the same thing.
Question though for you. Do you think what Sean McDonough said on the air was accurate? You know, they're going to regret this trade and sustain on the organization?
Yeah, we're 4 years past. He got a standing ovation at his first at-bat for all 3 games. 4 years after the trade. Yeah, we'll be talking about this trade forever. I grew up, all people talked about was the Babe Ruth trade. The Babe Ruth trade. For 86 years, they talked about the Babe Ruth trade, and the Reds say go and do it again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I agree. I totally agree. There was actually there was a couple things that pissed me off. Number one, they traded him. But then they do the video thing, and they do welcome back 2018 World Champions. And it so happens that I'm looking at the scoreboard, and who might be my least favorite player from the 2018 team is Ryan Brazier. They put Ryan Brazier and Mookie together. So they were counting on a large standing ovation, a large ovation before they ran that. And then when they ran that, it's sort of like I thought that it was disrespectful of what he accomplished in 2018. But that's just me, and I've lived through a lot of this crap from these guys.
The camera cut to Brazier in the bullpen, and he looked very confused. He didn't know if, because people were cheering. He's like, I don't get cheered here. I get booed here. And he's like, kind of gave a little wave, whatever, because they were cheering for Mookie. Yeah, I don't really care about that as much. He should be a Red Sox, and that's the end of that. But and also, we did talk about the MVPs last week, and
yes, we did.
He's really making a charge, and I think at the start of Monday morning after the weekend that he had in Fenway and the week he had, because I don't know who they played before they came to Fenway. They were actually in Cleveland, weren't they? Mookie won Player of the Week, and he is now the odds-on favorite in Vegas to win the National League MVP.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting call because he's going to take votes away from his teammate Freddie Freeman, who was great as well. I mean, that 1-2 punch for the Dodgers. I mean, we think, why are the Red Sox where they are? And again, even last night with the Red Sox, we'll forget Mookie because I love Mookie and we'll miss him forever. But last night, Cora had nobody in the bullpen. Whose fault is that?
Well, I guess it's the general manager, correct? Yeah.
But
he didn't have nobody in the bullpen. He chose to have nobody in the bullpen because I think he was trying to send a message that he just doesn't want to be here anymore. Well, I would be very surprised if Alex Cora manages the Red Sox next year. Very surprised.
I think in the sense that if the right job comes up, he will go. I wouldn't mind them bumping him up into a front office job if they have to. It's weird because all I hear for the last 3 or 4 weeks is this is the greatest bullpen anybody ever put together, and then we have a game like that, and this Barrenclaw guy is absolutely horrible, and he's trying. And I know that Cora is trying to protect arms. There's no doubt about it. And he probably told the kid, "You're going to live it. I'm going to live with you." Once we got down 6 or 7 runs, but it's just I think it's a fatal flaw in the strategy of our good friend. Chaim Bloom, and again, Chaim Bloom, if you look up Chaim Bloom in the dictionary, it translates into future. Everything about Chaim Bloom is the future, is the future, is the future. But is the future ever going to get here? And that's really where my biggest concern is.
I mentioned that in our first podcast about always being about the future, but I will defend the bullpen in that it's not entirely the bullpen's fault. It's more of the starting pitching's fault, and the fact that how much innings the Red Sox have used their bullpen for this year, and they're fried at this point. So.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head.
They have some good pitchers. If they had the starting rotation that they had in 2018, their bullpen would be fine. Their bullpen would be very good, one of the best in the MLB. It would, because they wouldn't get taxed every night. They would have guys who go 5-6 innings most nights. You look at that; they had Porcello, Price, Sale, and and Erod to start the year, and then they got Eovaldi, who is another guy who could go 5-6 innings. All four of those guys have potential to throw, maybe not Erod anymore, and definitely not Sale anymore, but those guys had potential to give you 200 innings. They have nobody even close to 200 innings on their team this year. Nobody even.
I think
Bayo maybe could become that, but even him, he's not been throwing 6 innings.
But in reality,
he actually has.
How many guys? How many guys in the major leagues are actually throwing over 200 innings anyway now? So
Okay,
therefore,
it's 200. Fine, we'll go 180.
Therefore,
they don't have anyone close to 180.
Okay, I
What's
agree. What's
Paxton going to finish with? Paxton was hurt. So.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Your bullpen has to be good, and it will get taxed in the way they play baseball now. So now does that mean you need to have 15 guys in the bullpen and 9 guys on the bench, and that's it, or vice versa? So that's our. It's aggravating, and Houston's a good baseball team. Los Angeles is a good baseball team. They are playoff teams. The team I'm watching on NESN every night is not a playoff team, and that's just the way life works. Their starting pitching isn't near good enough. Their defense isn't good enough, and their base running is actually horrible as well.
They have the new playoff format where you get 3 wildcard teams and 6 teams make the playoff. Makes it so almost everyone, as long as you're over 500, you're technically in the wildcard race until mid-September. But if it were the old days, the 3 divisions, the 3 division winners get the playoff spots, and there's 1 wildcard team from each league, so it's 1 wildcard team. The Red Sox are what? Who's in the first wildcard spot? Houston.
No, I think Tampa's in actually the real wildcard spot.
Oh yeah,
right?
Tampa. And how many games back are the Red Sox on Tampa? 8, 9. They're not in it.
Right.
Based off that.
You're right. That's absolutely correct. I mean, I agree with you. But again, I think 2021 was an outlier, and that's the biggest problem. Maybe it would have been, and we had great times, and it was fun to watch, and I love when they're winning. But maybe that's the outlier here, and it's just not really the norm because they're last place in 2020.
It's not, though, because 2016, 17, and 18, they were very good baseball teams. It just all came together at the right time in 2018, where they had the right stuff in 2018. They beat the teams they beat the good teams, which they didn't do in 17 and 16 and 17. But they had good baseball. That's not.
No,
the norm.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm complaining about 2021.
No, but it's not there's no the norm now. We all know what the norm is. Yeah, everyone knows the norm is going to be fighting for that third wild card spot until they somewhat get pitching or figure it out or make a decision that they're going to go all in or whatever.
Okay,
but
I'll go to
the norm. Then the Red Sox norm. I know they finished last place and have finished last place a lot in what the John Henry era, but they've won divisions at a higher percentage over the past 20 years. Forget wild cards, even divisions. They've won the division more times the past 20 years than they have in the past 60 years.
Because again, if you go back to my time as a fan, and start with 67, they won the American League. You start with 75, they won the American League. You go to 86, they won the American League. And then 88 and 90, they lost to Oakland in the championship. In 95, they were division winners, but they lost the first round. 98, 99, they lost in the first round and then to the Yankees. And then since that period of time, which is the new ownership, yes, it's again, maybe we're spoiled. I just would think for the money we have and the cachet that this team should have, we shouldn't be putting that product out on the field every day with regards to what we're seeing.
The ballpark's still full. It will always be full because Dodgers fans and whoever's in town will buy tickets to come to the ballpark. So nothing's going to change.
Yeah, that's what I told you the other night. I said it's a destination for people now. Not even, these weren't Dodger fans from Los Angeles. These were Dodger fans from New England. They get a chance to see their Dodgers now every other year. You're going to almost get teams like that. San Francisco's going to come in. Dodgers are going to come in. St. Louis is going to come in. The Cubbies are going to come in. Whenever those teams are going to come in, the Sox are going to sell out no matter what because fans who are close enough to come to Fenway or fans who want to come to Fenway will always come and buy the tickets. So
and the Yankees are almost going through the same thing where their numbers have not dropped at all attendance-wise, or maybe a little bit, but their numbers are just what they need to be. And until that changes, why is Steinbrenner going to make a big move? He doesn't care.
I totally agree.
And they're in a worse spot than the Red Sox are.
They do. Hey, let's just switch gears real quick because my boy Ron Acuna had a 20-point fantasy night last night to keep me alive in our matchup with you. But any quick thoughts on what happened security-wise? I know you're too young to remember Steffi Graf getting stabbed in the back in the middle of an actual match. But I saw the highlight, and you're right. I don't think security did a great job there. But thoughts, feelings, anything? Nothing?
No, they were not coming out to hurt him. They were coming out to hug him and touch him. So, whatever. It was just a mess because of the way that he got table-topped over the security guard trying to pull the guy off his legs by the other fan. But that was nothing. There was the worst thing I've ever seen was in the championship, which is the second division of English soccer. There's a guy who plays for Man City now, Jack Grealish. He got punched in the head. Some dude ran on the field and came from behind him and just punched him in the head. He ended up going on and scoring the match winner in that game, so it was a very iconic performance by him. But who cares? Ronald Acuna. He ended up having just like Rich Jack Grealish. He had a great night.
Right. That's true. But it's
they weren't there to hurt. They weren't there. They were there to hug him and all this.
I agree with you there. But what happens if they're there to hurt him?
It would have been.
That would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
Right.
The fans are stupid. Whatever.
Well,
what are you going to do? You're always going to have stupid fans. What are you going to do? Shoot them? There's nothing you can do.
Okay, let's transfer from stupid fans to the Ryder Cup. Captain's picks were announced today. I don't know if you got to see that Justin Thomas made it. Yeah. They left off a few people. It's the captain's picks, and I think Johnson decided to say, Zach Johnson said, I need guys that I'm comfortable with who are going to win, who are going to play well together. Therefore, he left off some names who probably deserve to be on it more than Justin Thomas. I don't have any issues with any other picks. Except Thomas just doesn't. I mean, he hasn't won a crap all year, and he's taking the spot of somebody who would be deserving who might never get a chance to play.
So the Justin Thomas thing, they played in Paris. Was that 4 years ago?
Yes.
Or was it 5 years ago because they skipped the year with COVID? Right, it would have been 2018. No.
They didn't.
No. 2015, 17, 19. So it was 2019. So the last time they played in Paris, on Sunday they play singles, right?
Yes.
And you don't get to pick who your matchup is,
right.
But you pick the order.
Yes, that's correct.
The U.S. they did lose, but the U.S. it was close, and they needed the first guy they sent out was Justin Thomas,
and they needed the win. He got the win,
and he beat Rory McIlroy. He was the first. He was the number one guy on that team. Number one guy sent out. His record speaks for itself. They said if him and Cam Young each, and this is no offense to Cam Young, who's a great golfer, if they each played 1,000 rounds, Justin Thomas would come out with a better scoring average. Even with the form he's in right now, he just would.
Okay,
so Justin Thomas,
I understand. What Lucas Glover? Why not Lucas Glover? Who's been hot player,
same thing.
Good player, older player would probably benefit by having a more.
I came around on the Justin Thomas once I really realized just how important he is and how he fits easily with Justin Thomas. It's not like I think Bryson's a pain because Bryson plays a specific ball, and Tiger was a pain because Tiger played a specific ball.
Yes,
and Tiger's one of the worst Ryder Cup players ever.
Worst Ryder Cup team players ever. Individual on match play, he was dominant.
All right, but it's okay. You can't just say team player.
Well, no,
the Ryder Cup's a team
ball.
thing. He's one of the worst Ryder Cup players ever. I don't care if he was good in singles. Yeah, he was great in the World Golf Championships.
I can tell
he's
you
good at match play. He won the U.S. He won the U.S. Amateur 3 times.
There are a couple of Europeans out there who lost a lot back in the 50s and 60s. But
yeah, okay.
We'll go because they play a different ball. I agree with you on that. By
okay, you can't make the argument that Tiger's a good Ryder Cup player because he's good at match play. The Ryder Cup's more than just individual match play. So that's my point with Justin Thomas is the Ryder Cup is more than just what you do personally. It's what you can do with the guy you're playing with, and Justin Thomas is perfect for that with Jordan Spieth. You made my point for me.
Okay, good.
The whole Tiger,
that's why
he's
we
a
ask
good
you.
match play player.
That's why I ask you. But Tiger.
Thanks.
Think about it. If you
Tiger
Tiger and Bryson in the same team, bombing away with Tiger's great short game,
it would be horrible. They would suck. That would be the worst team in the history of teams ever played together. They would lose 18-0, Bryson and Tiger. They would.
The worst team in the history of teams was when Mickelson paired up with Tiger.
You just tried to inform me that Tiger was a good match play player when he won the U.S. Junior Amateur 3 straight times and then the U.S. Amateur 3 times. I didn't know he was a good match player. We're talking about Ryder Cup. It's a specific game of golf. It's a specific way of playing golf, and Justin Thomas is good at it, and he deserved to make the team.
Okay, since you're the golf legend here, I have to. I just don't. I agree with you, but from a optics perspective, I don't think it looks great. That's all.
Well, what about when did Tiger ever make it when he was going through this stuff?
No.
Did they pick him?
No.
Well, because he was hurt.
Yeah, it's different.
What about when he wasn't? I guess all of his
every other year
coincides with his injuries.
Was injuries, right? But that's the Ryder Cup, which is an international competition. Let's go to another national competition, which is really taken storm, is with the Spanish women. And how do you screw up one of the greatest accomplishments a program can have? How do you screw up? Let's just look for the Spanish director of whatever he is of soccer. What's you're an international soccer guy. What's your take on it? Is it that male chauvinistic?
How do you screw it up? You don't care. They don't care. He doesn't care. The Spanish FA and him, Rubiales, who's the guy that's the president, he just doesn't. If you asked him, do we have to pay for women's sports or not? He would say no. would you take this World Cup back? Would you give this World Cup back if you didn't have to pay them any money or care about women at all playing soccer? They'd say yes. They just don't care, and now they were careless, and I don't know what he was doing. He's had incidents in the past, I know that, with females and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think he has a history there, but it's the reaction after off of it with he made this speech like, I'm not leaving, I'm not backing down, and then everyone in the audience was clapping for him, and now his mother went to the local church and is going on a hunger strike. It's just a mess of a situation.
Yes,
and
it is.
FIFA stepped in and suspended him, and
well, somebody has to take charge a little bit. They don't care. So
I know the president of Spain, the actual president of the country, has criticized him too. I just don't know how it gets resolved.
Yeah, it's
somebody
true.
like the way it gets resolved. I still
gets
think
fired.
Well, no, they're not going to fire him. They don't. They're refusing to do it. They're refusing to get rid of him. The only way that they're going to get rid of him is either somehow. Because I did see something where UEFA, who's the governing body of European soccer, might ban all because it's the Spanish Federation which is in charge of this. They might ban all Spanish teams from their competitions.
That's it.
So say they go, Real Madrid, you're not playing in our competition. Real Madrid's president, I'm telling you, he will go and he will have that Rubiales guy killed and get rid of him. And
so that's the answer.
Real
then,
Madrid
right?
will play in the
That's the
Champions
answer. Once it starts to impact the male teams, it'll change. Even if the females boycott, it won't matter because I think I understand it took a long time for just here in the States for them to get equal pay, or at least somewhat equal pay. So, I can only imagine what it's like in Europe today. But that's good. It's a mess. I mean, you win something big, and maybe you're right. He did care enough to kiss the girl, right? So he had to care about something.
Yeah, I don't know. He's trying to insert himself into the moment or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. We've had some weird things happen on the podiums after World Cup finals, like in the one in Qatar with Messi, they put the shroud on him or whatever it is. The thing it made no sense. How about we go back even more to the 2018 World Cup? You know who was handing out the medals at that World Cup to the winners and the losers? No, Vladimir Putin.
Oh yeah.
So we've had some interesting things going on with podiums after World Cup finals.
Another thing, real quickly, we did the Spanish. How about did you catch the Little World Series at all? Did you see that?
Not really any of it.
Do you care?
No, I don't care at all. It's the big kids are good.
Yeah.
Thanks. They throw harder. They're more developed. They hit the ball further. That's all it is.
But the guy you told me to watch, though, the pitcher from Taiwan,
he
or
threw
Spanish
a perfect inning. I said,
and then he gave up the 2 runs to lose it.
He gave 2 runs. That happens.
But I said I watched him just because he's like, I got to watch this guy in Jacksonville. Yeah, those kids they're bigger than me, and I'm like not that small.
Yeah, the kid who hit the walk-off home run to win the Little League World Series, he's rounding third base. He's towering over his third base coach. So it's a sham, that sport.
That's how it works. The Little League's like that. It's just
good
how
for
it
them,
works.
though. Good for America winning.
Woohoo! We won a thing, right? We started week 0 of college football last week. We'll get more into college football going forward, but what's your take of college football starting before Labor Day?
Oh, I don't care.
You don't care?
But it's not really. There's only a few teams that do it. It's every year. They call it week 0. It's the time.
I know.
It's stupid, but who cares? It doesn't
for our good
matter.
friend Mr. Greco, UMass actually won a football game in over. So
big win for UMass. I think they were like 7.5-point underdogs too, and their win total was either 2.5 or 3.5 this year. So let's see if they can get over that.
Okay, and and as you being a Wilmington High School athlete at some point in your life, I don't know how long ago that was. They opened up this week. This is the first week of competition for them for the fall season. And I know that Mike Maloney, the golf coach, Coach Maloney, was hopefully getting himself on track. And I know they had a tough match against Winchester yesterday. But they got a couple of kids who I coached on JV baseball are going to play for them. So that's exciting. Thinking back, those first couple golf matches in the fall before school started, what was it like to get yourself going?
I don't ever think we played a match this early.
No.
So I don't know what happened there. We used to have like 2-3 weeks of practice, and then we'd have like our first match like mid-September, and then it'd just be like 3-4 matches a week for 4 weeks. So I just thought of that. No, we never played a match that early. So
You
I
never
don't know.
played before school started.
I do feel bad they did. Winchester's always a good team. It sucks that they had to play Winchester, or Winchester now plays at Woburn Country Club, because playing at Winchester Country Club is a very fun, very good experience, and you're not going to find many courses like that around here.
Yeah, I think they get the quad, they get Winchester Country Club, they get Belmont, they get
Oakley.
and I think those three.
What about
they don't get Oakley.
Lexington?
I'm not sure if they're playing at
Lexington's a very good course. Another course around here is the one in Melrose, Bellevue.
Bellevue. You actually played a good match in Bellevue, right?
Yeah, I think I shot a 39 there. I think that was my best match. And then another good. It's a little bit lower of it, like Bellevue and Bellevue is on a tier, I'd say, below Lexington and Winchester and Belmont and Oakley. That's like the top tier. And then you get Bellevue, and there's another Bear Hill and Stoneham's another very good course that I always had success at.
Okay, so yeah, where's the Hillview? Where's the Hillview rank?
We'll hope Hillview in the league, second to last, because I think Hillview's better than Billerica back nine.
Oh,
the Billerica back nine's an absolute mess. The holes suck. It's a horrible condition. So it actually isn't the worst course in the league. But yeah, hopefully Maloney can get them their first win since we left.
That's what the hope is, I think, and he's got the good plan. And of course, the good news for Mike, Coach Maloney, is he had 28 kids try out, which is last year they had 6. They start off with 6. They had to add 2 of the baseball players to get to 8 just to be competitive. But it's good. We got football coming up on Friday's an exhibition game at home, but high school athletics is getting going. We'll do some coverage here from WCTV as well. So that's a quick recap of what happened during the week. Did I miss anything sports-wise that happened that we should bring up and argue about?
No, there's nothing going on besides in America. There's only baseball.
Well, yeah, but there's everything starting up now.
I know, but you didn't miss anything.
Oh, good.
You missed the Urban Meyer thing. The Florida documentary came out, and Urban Meyer, I guess, executive produced it, so it talks about nothing. You know what I didn't realize about that team? So, obviously, Aaron, all that. You know who else was on that team with Aaron Hernandez?
Pouncey.
No.
Who?
Riley Cooper.
Really?
Yeah. So I hope Riley Cooper never got intoxicated around Aaron Hernandez. Well, he didn't, because he would have killed him for saying some of the stuff that Riley Cooper ended up saying.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't know Riley Cooper was on the team. And you know who else was on that team? Cam Newton was on that team.
He was he was on the team. He didn't play, though, right?
Yeah, but what happened with the documentary I heard, I didn't watch it, but they talked about nothing. It was just a puff piece for Urban Meyer. Okay. You got to do it independently with Urban Meyer not being involved, because Urban Meyer is one of the craziest, wildest, one of the greatest coaches, but he runs a crazy ship.
Crazy town, especially everywhere. Everywhere he goes, he leaves a mess in his wake, though. You're right.
Oh, major mess, health issue, and then he leaves with the health issues. The only time he didn't leave with the health issues was Jacksonville, when they just fired him.
Yeah, they got rid of him. They said, "We've had you for 8 games. We've done."
You can't recruit and treat players the way he treats players in the NFL.
Right. And I think that's one of the things I think that happens. Any college coach trying to transition, we could go back over the years at some point and look how many guys have gone from college coach to a great pro coach.
Not many, just really Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy, and you got to go with Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but
he was a pro coach first, though.
Yeah,
but you got to go Pete Carroll.
What about like Harbaugh? Harbaugh was a good NFL coach, and he would coach at Stanford first, right?
Right, and he went back so he could cheat more at Michigan. So
yeah, he probably got more money too.
That's how it goes. Just real quickly,
he's serving a 3-game suspension to start the year.
I know.
And I think the first game back is like Penn State or something. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. At some point, again, we can talk about college coaches transitioning, both pro and because you asked me about Jim Boeheim with Michigan when he went to Cleveland for like a half a year. How many coaches have really been successful going from college to the professional level, and even going from the professional level back to the college? Like all those, like Lovie Smith and who was the other guy? Went to Arizona State. I forget his name now.
Herm
Edwards. You know how successful are those transitions? But
was Herm a real good NFL coach?
Average.
Well, he wasn't a good call.
He was a horrible college coach.
He stunk. So
he was. He just average.
He was good at talking.
He was very good at talking, and you know what? He probably was really good at with communication with the older player, with a professional player, more so with the college player. And the other thing that I was thinking about today is we can do this a lot in the coming weeks is rivalries and like Notre Dame played Navy, and it's not really a rivalry, but at some point along the line there are rivals, the Yankees and the Red Sox. You know, I'm sure that Man United and Liverpool is a rivalry. So I want to we'll do a 7 wonders of that.
Man United Arsenal this weekend, semi big rivalry, but a big game. Tune in Sunday 11:30. Okay. Hopefully we're on NBC.
Is Mr. O'Donnell back from...
Mr. O'Donnell will be back from Norway celebrating the big Tour Championship win with Victor Hovland. He'll be watching the game at our house.
That's good. I hope that maybe we can get him in the other chair next time.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I can't wait to have him talk about NFL football. Kevin, you're more than welcome. When you Plain Fight Black, I hope you listen to the podcast.
The thing about Kevin is he doesn't know much about now, but if you were to talk to him about like NFL football from like 2009 to 2015, he knows everything. His American sport knowledge now is horrible because he only cares about soccer. But if you were to talk to him about like American sports, college, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, anything from like 2015, from 2008 like 2015, he can talk about anything.
That's funny.
It is.
Kevin's an interesting dude. Hey, real quick, you got my text today. I found a rec basketball game with you, Jay, Trev, and Kevin in the game, and Joey Ribeiro in the game. You got to see it. We see Justin try to handle the ball and just bull past you.
There's the two worst teams in the league, I think.
Iowa and Indiana. Coached by Jim Boyle and Tommy Trevisani.
You guys can talk about that tomorrow, your poor coaching jobs you did with those two teams.
It's what you get. It's not the Jimmies and the Joes. It's the X and the O's.
Well, it is, because I do remember you took me and Joey Ribeiro out of the game
that was playing by the rules.
Yeah.
That's legitimately have
but
to do
Mr. Swami wasn't playing by the rules, and they beat us because of it. Because he put Chris and Billy McAvoy in the game.
Hey, if you have to win that
so
bad.
So it is poor coaching by you.
If you have to win that bad to beat me like that, then God bless you to beat me like that. And before we go to our Seven Wonders of the World here, I did get a chance to see Springsteen last weekend. I drove down to Foxborough on Thursday night, so... for all my listeners out there who are worried about me and getting him postponed down in Philly, I did get to see him this weekend.
They were losing sleep over it.
I'm sure they were losing sleep over. You didn't lose much sleep over, though, did you?
Well, no,
right.
I'm not a listener.
That's true. You're a host. Okay, so let's go with our Seven Wonders NFL quarterbacks we decided to do. We'll do the NFL preview next week. Jack's been working hard, so he's a little bit tired these days. I'll have to take the notes here as we go forward. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure? He's looking at himself in the TV back here. I can see that. All right, so how are we going to go? I'm going to, because I do know who.
We never bring a coin here to determine the first.
Jared, a coin?
A coin.
Oh.
Do you have a coin?
Do I have? I have no money ever.
Here, flip up your card, your debit card there. I'll take the front side, you'll take the back side. So
there's let me get on camera here. So I don't want to just see my numbers.
Here, give me it.
Here you go. It's the front is blue, black is green. Right?
That was come on. Come on.
Okay, I'll flip it.
No, give me it. I'll do it. I'll be able to do it here.
Don't you have wait, I got to flip over.
See, camera's right here. Watch. I won't even look.
You're such an idiot.
Green. So he has the first pick.
I get the first.
Okay, we already know who the first pick is. So
Let's not forget my card down there. Hold on.
Okay.
So Jack's, who am I taking first? Patty Mahomes.
Probably Mac Jones. Yeah. Okay, I'll take Burrow.
You're going to go with Joey Burrow?
And then I know who you're going to pick third. Because I feel like the top three quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't know, though.
Depends on where you rank a specific guy. That we'll talk about when he comes up. Go. Okay.
I will go with the guy I always like.
Wait, the first two picks were Mahomes and Joe Burrow.
And I think I agree with Burrow. I'm not gonna go with my bet that I had against Joe Burrow with you by now. Anyway.
Yeah, that was.
That bet,
in the end,
it's actually a pretty even bet.
Yeah,
both guys lost in the Super Bowl,
and it was a terrible bet made by you. Just
terrible bet until it got to be a great bet, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with my good boy Josh Allen at
3. Yep.
At 3. So you got a whole bunch of guys to pick from at 4, 5, and 6, or 4 or 3. You get 3, right? 2 rather. I'm sorry. Oh, he's looking on his phone, cheating.
I don't want to pick this guy.
Pick him.
No, you know what? I think I'm gonna go
Brock Purdy.
No, because I can get this guy later. I don't think he's a better quarterback than him. I'm gonna go with this is weird.
Oh God, he's thinking. I can see the steam running. Let's take the other camera.
Just because I know you're high on him, this is going to be a reach, probably picking him 4th, but I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence.
I knew you were going to take him because it's always about who you can take that I would have taken.
Well,
I wouldn't have taken him I wouldn't have gone, excuse me, I wouldn't have gone that early, but I probably would have tried to sneak him in at some point before then. That's a pretty good pick, though.
Yeah, it's just like I think he's better than Herbert. I think he's better than... That's really his comparison. I think he's better than Herbert.
Yeah, because that's the same style quarterback.
He beat Herbert in the playoffs.
I think he's also better than Herbert because he's got a coach. He's got a great coach working with right now. That's important. This is a good coach.
All right, yeah.
So, the next pick, I am looking at my list here. I'm going to take. God, you make me have to think about this.
Everyone feels like you're almost overdrafting them, but
it does, but you're not in reality because I'm going to take Jalen Hurts.
That's who I was thinking about taking, and that's what our bet was because we made a bet when when LSU ran Oklahoma off the field in the college football playoff.
Yes.
It was like they could have won that game at least 100. This isn't like hyperbole or anything. It could have been 125 to what they could have scored 125 points if they wanted to. And he was all mad. And I said that he said that Jalen Hurts would be a better pro than Joe Burrow.
That wasn't a bad choice.
I know, but at the time, it was one of the more outrageous things anybody ever said. It's still wrong, but the only reason it's wrong is because Joe Burrow is like this elite level quarterback right now. But so is Jalen Hurts. He's just a little bit not on that level. The issue I think I don't think he can carry a team like Burrow can.
No, but he's got to go. I think one of the biggest issues with the two of them is who stays healthy. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has been relatively healthy his whole career. Josh Allen, relatively healthy his whole career. Trevor Lawrence only in 2 years. But I think who stays healthy. So I got Jalen Hurts. I'm going to give you the next pick.
All right, so we picked, what, 5 guys? 6 guys?
5 guys. We're at 5. You had the 6th pick.
No, I picked Mahomes, Burrow,
No, I got Mahomes.
Okay, I picked Burrow.
And Lawrence.
And
I got Hurts, Allen, and Mahomes. So, yeah.
All right, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to have a huge year. A huge year. He's got everything set up for him. Good offense. Good talent in the offense. He's out of Green Bay. I don't know if I love the coach. I know I don't love the coach.
Yeah, but the coach is a good guy though.
I think he's poised to have a really big year. They're not going to win anything because the AFC is just too hard. But I think numbers wise, he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns. Doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, and he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen.
I think you're right, and it'll all really come down to the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. If they're playing well and he's engaged.
Well, he can sulk.
He's a sulker. He might be the biggest sulker that we have, and it's Robert Saleh who's the coach there. All right, the next pick's tough.
Who's their offensive coordinator? Do we know? What's it?
I don't know.
Okay.
You think I know that stuff?
Good for us.
Good for us, and I don't know his name. Who's the offensive coordinator for the Patriots?
O'Brien.
At least we know that. That's good. Okay, so you picked Rodgers. I'm going to go with Herbert from San Diego. I like the kid. I think he's got a good young coach who's aware of what's going on. And there's a couple toss-up picks. There's a few guys out there that actually could have got picked over him, but I'm going to stick with him. He's been successful last 2 years getting his team moving into the playoffs. It's not like it's Derek Carr or anything. So
I'm just not his biggest fan. I'm going to go with here another guy who I'm not the biggest fan of, but again, there's really only, when I really look at this list, there's only like 3 or 4 quarterbacks I'm really big fans of. Now, this isn't saying that they're not good, but there's only 3 or 4 that I think you put them on any team, they're going to make
they're
going to make the second round of the playoffs.
You're probably right.
So I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
I knew that was where you're going.
Yeah, what is this? My 4th pick?
Yeah.
My 3rd pick?
That's your 4th pick.
Yeah,
actually, I agree with you on that. I would have taken Lamar. Lamar would have been the one I would have discussed. I would have taken Rodgers over both those guys too. By the way, just so that you know. Now it's my pick. I'm going to go with. There's not a lot left. You're right. You're starting to pick the bottom of the barrel here.
I got a couple guys I like.
You can go with Russell Wilson if you want, but I'm not going to take him. I don't like him as much anymore. I'm going to stick my neck, and I'm going to go with Matt Stafford.
Ooh.
I'm going to Stafford out in L.A. because although I hear that he's having trouble with younger players, but he's a good quality Super Bowl winning quarterback. So right now you have Mahomes, and you have Stafford, and you have Rodgers, who are the only Super Bowl winning quarterbacks on the list.
Yeah, no, well, there's not that many Super Bowl winning quarterbacks playing in the NFL.
Excuse me.
Brady won half of them, and he's gone.
And Manning
but
and
the
Brady
thing with
Roethlisberger.
You just picked what's his
Matt Stafford.
I think he's past it. I think he's done. I think he's quit. I think his arm's kind of fried too. So I'm not. He was nowhere even near on my list. I'm going to take a guy here. I think he is a pretty damn good quarterback. He's a wild card though, and his name's a bit taboo. But I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson.
That's what's funny is Deshaun Watson's not a bad pick.
He's overpaid,
but you know what? He's got in the right situations a pretty good team around him. Good line, gets a year under his belt.
The thing is, he got $230 million easily. Lamar Jackson, it took
had a fight for it
forever for him to get it. So I think the league almost would rather have Deshaun Watson as your quarterback than Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson's a much better character, and he's not going to get.
I think that money thing, though, truly, Jack. That money thing was because Cleveland needed. There was a basic need for Cleveland to have. Hey, can we pick Jameis Winston in this draft?
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I don't know if he's playing anymore.
No, he's not because they have what's his name?
Baker Mayfield, right?
No,
is it New Orleans Baker Mayfield? I thought New Orleans was Baker Mayfield. Maybe I'm wrong. Carolina is who?
Carolina's
Saints is Derek Carr.
Carolina,
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, that's who it was. I knew it was someone who just got traded. Carolina's the rookie there. Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, and then C.J. Stroud's the rookie out in Houston.
Yep.
All right.
And then Richardson is the Colts rookie.
All right, so you go with Watson. I'm going to go with your favorite player of all time, Dak Prescott.
He was one of the guys I was looking at.
He's a tough one to pass up sometimes, but, it's like he's got Mike McCarthy as his coach, so it's tough. But I'll go with Dak Prescott.
They got a pretty good coordinator there, the young guy there, Kellen.
Yes.
But the thing with Dak Prescott is I think he just gets a bad. Obviously, I've seen him play games. I've seen him play games where he's horrible. But I've seen him play games where he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
I saw him, again, everyone, I don't know who they ended up losing to in the playoffs, but because my memory stinks with some stuff sometimes. But he did suck in the game they lost in the playoffs. But the game they won in the playoffs, they beat Tampa, right?
Yes. He played really well.
They beat Tampa. He killed them. He played a game against the Patriots, I think, 2 years ago or something, in Foxborough. It's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play at Foxborough. So I'm in love with his upside. I know his downside's horrendous.
Correct.
And can kill you, but I really like his upside, so I like that pick.
Totally agree. So I'll take Dak Prescott with my 5th pick as we're running down. Now we're almost at the 10th quarterback. So you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Who you got, Jack?
Guy who made the playoffs last year has increasingly been getting better. I'm going to go with Daniel Jones.
Ooh, not a bad.
It's not great, but he can run for a touchdown. He could throw you a touchdown.
I could go with that.
I'm not
going to
say he doesn't turn the ball over that much because I really don't know what his turnover numbers are like, but he's a decent quarterback.
I can see that.
Here's a guy, I'm not going to say this guy's name, but it's like, would you rather have him or this other guy
the
you
guy I'm
going
to pick next?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins?
Exactly him. Yep.
That was the easy one.
I would rather have Daniel Jones.
Oh, because of the age maybe, but I'm going to go with Cousins in this pick because, again, I'm looking at my list. I'm saying we're really running down here, low, and like Patriot fans can bitch and moan all they want, but this is what happens in the NFL. If you don't have one of those top 4 or 5 quarterbacks, you don't have a good quarterback. So I got to be careful here with who you pick. But that's I'll go with Kirk Cousins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 7th pick.
Yeah, so I have one more pick. I'm just good value. Everyone's down. Another guy that people are really down on, but I'm going to go Russell Wilson. He's got a. Is he really? He's not a top 14 quarterback in the NFL. Really?
I don't know. Well, he's been crappy.
He has to be.
He's been crappy last year.
I know. Well, last year they had the coach was a mess, and everything was a mess, and he was a mess, and hopefully he's bought in more this year, and he's got a really good Hall of Fame coach coaching him, and Sean Payton. So hopefully he can bounce back.
That's true. Just a real wild card pick. Who of the young quarterbacks that we haven't mentioned do you? I'll let you pick. Not have to pick.
What do you mean by young?
Young, first or second year. Trevor Lawrence is in his 3rd year.
Do you like Justin Fields?
You know what? I debate about him.
So that draft class was horrendous. So that draft class right now is the quarterback. They had the 5 quarterbacks picked in the first round.
Yeah.
It was Trevor Lawrence, going to be great. Then the second and the third pick was Zach Wilson, horrendous, and Trey Lance, horrendous. Got traded. One of the worst trades in NFL history now. The fact that the 49ers traded up for him.
Correct.
Then it was Fields, and then it was Mac Jones.
I think I tend to say that sometimes I wonder if you don't get picked in the right place. The Trey Lance thing is weird because
he was picked. That was the perfect place to get picked.
But what happened with Trey Lance? I was reading about Trey Lance today. Listen to this. With Trey Lance today, he has only thrown 400 passes. 400 passes since he's in high school. Yeah,
because he sat out the COVID year in college and all that. Yeah, no.
Sorry.
He stinks. You can't.
Right.
That was the perfect spot to
get
get drafted.
Did they send him to New Orleans or someplace like
Dallas.
that? Dallas? That's a good place for him to go.
He's going to take over for Dak. Cooper Rush.
Oh, yeah, great. All right, so who
Gardner Minshew.
Who he beat
Best
us.
backups in the league.
He beat us one year with that long pass to that tight end once USC.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Goddamn pain in the ass.
No, that wasn't him. That was Blake Bortles.
Oh, that's right, Blake Bortles. Minshew was the guy at East Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't beat us, though. They suck. All right, so who are the young players? Who are the young guys? Kenny Pickett, C.J. Stroud, Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not young. Jalen Hurts. We used Sam Howell, Josh Fields, Jared Goff. Look, Jared Goff has actually played really well.
Yeah, but forget him. He got traded off, and they won the Super Bowl right after he got traded.
Jordan. Okay, Jordan Love. Desmond Ridder.
That's a good. So Jordan Love, he's got the big. It's gone Favre, Rodgers, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
In the past 40 years. So that's big shoes he's filling.
Yes, it will be.
He played a game against Kansas City. He was horrible.
Again, then you have Bryce Young.
Give him a year.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Purdy.
Bryce Young. I don't like the super tiny quarterbacks like that. He's really tiny, really tiny.
And I would struggle a little bit with that, but I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud only because those Ohio State quarterbacks always suck in the NFL, so they have to get one right every once in a while.
Everyone loves Anthony Richardson right now because he's
right.
He's one of those freak of nature quarterbacks like Josh Allen kind of was. But so we'll see what happens with him.
But he has never thrown, again, another stat that's kind of.
Yeah, but Josh
he has
Allen,
never thrown for over 50% in his career. High school career, he never threw more than 50%. High school.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
His accuracy is very weak. In the NFL, you have to be accurate.
I'm gonna say his senior year in high school, he threw more than 50%.
All right, that's going to be your.
We can argue. Someone fact check that for us. If he didn't throw 50% in his senior year of high school, I don't think he was going to the University of Florida.
Well, because he's an all everything guy.
Okay, but Josh Allen had the same issue at Wyoming.
Tim Tebow.
He wasn't that good at Wyoming.
So, all right, so let's recap.
But then you get the guys like the dude who was at UNC, who was another one of those body guys, great body, but who was his name?
Oh, Howell?
No.
Sam Howell.
No, even before Sam Howell. Oh, UNC. Oh.
Come on. You got to think.
It's gonna bother me. This UNC guy
had a quarterback that
went like second overall to the Bears.
Oh,
Trubisky.
Oh my God, Trubisky.
Trubisky. Yeah. And again, he was a guy who went to a perfect situation. They made the playoff because they had that defense. They had one of the best defense in the NFL, and they made their way to the playoffs. But they had to replace him. They knew they had to replace him. He wasn't good enough.
I'll give you that too. So let's recap. I got Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Herbert, Stafford, Prescott, and Cousins. You've got Burrow, Lawrence, Rodgers, Jackson, Watson, Jones, and Wilson. I don't think yours is that good, by the way.
Who's Jones?
Daniel Jones.
Oh, Daniel.
Did you take it?
I don't think yours is that good. What are you talking? I've won every draft so far.
No,
landslide. Yes, I have.
You won the golf because I gave up on Victor Hovland. I
won. What do you mean you gave up on Victor Hovland? There's no giving up on Victor Hovland. You picked Brooks Koepka over him. Ended up probably not being a smart pick.
Oh, well.
What are you going to do?
I forget how smart you are.
I know.
So
we'll see. You know what? Tommy T and Nikki tomorrow.
Okay.
Ask them whose team's better.
Okay.
All right. What are you doing right now?
What do you mean?
Like your mouth wrong.
No, I got something to cough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. This podcast is ending because he can't even talk anymore.
He can't even talk. I don't want to cough in the mic. That's why.
All right. Yeah, it's better.
All right. It's
better than muttering into it.
Real quickly, what? This is like being at home again.
What do you ask? Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
No.
Chiefs every year. Pick them every year for the next 15
I'm not
years.
Saying,
I'll pick the Chiefs
you get to ask me the question. I'm not going to.
Okay, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Not the Chiefs.
Okay, I picked the Chiefs.
I picked
them last year. I picked them the year before.
Buffalo again.
Buffalo, yeah, that's been a good pick for the past 3 years.
Better than your pick of the Chiefs.
No, it isn't. Not better than pick than the Chiefs because guess who won the Super Bowl last year? The Chiefs.
You got very lucky then.
Yep.
You're very lucky.
All
right, so we're just wrapping up episode 3, season 1, episode 3 of It All Boils Down to This. Thanks, Jack, for coming in after you worked. We'll be seeing you again next week. But again, for Jack Boyle, this is Jim Boyle for It All Boils Down to This, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV Studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We're always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.